Hey, what is up guys, it's Jay-Z here and welcome back for another Godfall build video. And today we have a build for none other than my favorite valor plate, Illumina. Looking back at all my builds, I haven't actually made a proper build of focusing on Illumina at all. So here is something really unique just for her. This is the ultimate Stasis build made just for her. As you may know, Stasis is an effect which lets you freeze the enemy in time for a set duration. Any attack you make on a Stasis enemy will cause them to drop out of their frozen state. Now with that, let's get straight into the build. Now for the weapons, we will be using Sunflare Destiny with the primary effect apply stasis on weak point hits. The primary ability is originally on the legendary polearm Ravenna's Glaive, so if you have that, then use that instead. I am using the Sunflare because the other ability is also very neat, which will reveal weak points on enemies if you soul shatter them. For the secondary, we have the legendary greatsword Zoe's Razor. This greatsword fits really well with this build and it has more uses than just applying stasis. The greatsword is great at breaching those pesky shield enemies. Also, the greatsword's northern technique does really good damage. And finally, it's the only weapon that can apply stasis to multiple enemies at once. So overall, it's just an amazing weapon to keep on you. For the amulet, we are using the Brother's Promise. Now you don't have to use this exact amulet in particular. I am using this one because of the amazing stats it has on it. Get something with crit chance and then for masterwork make sure to add crit damage. For the charm we will be using the Lion's Talisman. This drops in epic rarity, so look out for that. Once again, look for crit chance on these items. Now for the rings we will be using 2 ancestral bands. This will allow us to get our Archon Fury in just a few hits. The reason why we are going for 2 ancestral bands and not adding any healing or overhealth rings is for a reason, and we will go over that in just a moment when we look at our augments. If you're not sure on how to equip 2 identical rings, I will have a link in the description to find out how you can do that. For the Lifestone, we will be going for Archon's Tier, and for the banner we have Mesa's Bandroll. As these are just the best Lifestones and banners in the game, so we use those. Get crit damage, weak point damage, weapon tick damage or Archon Fury damage on any of these 2 items. Now we get into the interesting part, is her augments. Now Illumina is my favorite valor plate since I played her from the beginning. Her design is great and her Archon Fury abilities are also great. But the only thing is that her augment constellation is just not that great. The reason why is that one of the strongest augments in the game just cannot be used by her. There is no way for her to line up 3 rare augments to be able to use this bad boy, which is just a shame. But nonetheless, she is still pretty strong. Now first we add Surety, which is an absolute must for this build to work. Then Loyalty, which will also be used to get our Archon Fury up faster. The Lion's Pride is the only form of healing and overhealth we will get from this build. Now we get into the interesting augments. For the second green augments we use Earthquake. This is what will apply stasis whenever we activate Archon Fury. This is the reason why we want to get Archon Fury as fast as possible, so we can apply stasis constantly on the enemies and everything around us. Then we get Warp. This will apply stasis whenever we use our Lifestones. This is great as we get 3 charges on our Lifestone and it activates pretty much instantly when you use it. So use your Lifestones as much as you can, as it's just another way to keep everything off you. When things get too rough, using a Lifestone and then stopping all the enemies in their tracks is just the best way to get out of trouble. Then the augment that brings everything together is the Fury's Conviction. You will gain a Lifestone whenever you activate Archon Fury. This is the reason why we don't get any overhealth rings or healing, so that we can use our Lifestones as much as we can. Since we will have Archon Fury up almost all the time, you should have all your Lifestones all the time as well. The reason we pick Illumina for this build is when we do use our Archon Fury, they will get status applied to them and also have their weak points exposed. So after activating Archon Fury, you can keep hitting their weak points to keep applying status to them. This way the enemies will be constantly trapped in the status effect. Those were the crucial augments for this build, and then for the remaining augments we get Divine Conduit to get more Archon Fury charge speed when we are hit. I am using Frostfire and Absorption for the 2 reg augments. Make sure you add up to 300 spirit so that you can use your Fury's Conviction, otherwise that augment won't work. For the skills it's pretty simple, just get all the skills I am showing here. One thing to note is we add 2 points in Siphon. When we apply stasis and if you use Siphon on them, they won't drop out of their status effect. If you are having trouble and need some extra health, you can use stasis to trap the enemy and then use Siphon to get health out of them. Get Siphon only if you think you will need it. And that is it for this build everyone. This build is a great way to control your surroundings, as you can temporarily take enemies out of commission while you either go around and heal up, or to get out of dangerous situations where you may be cornered, or even just to get a better angle of attack on the enemies. Now, stasis doesn't work on bosses, mid-bosses and the elite enemies. You can apply stasis on the elite enemies once you remove their black aura, or in other words, 1 bar of their health. Hope you enjoyed the video, guys. Comment down below on what you all thought of this build, and like and subscribe to follow up on more Godfall build videos. Have an awesome day, guys.